Hello and welcome to this quick tip from 52 Hider 3D. My name's Christy and today I'm just going to be showing you a quick overview of the new rigid body physics that has been added in Blender 2.66. Now before, when we wanted to do something with rigid bodies, we had to go into the Blender game engine and then start doing stuff in there, baking it out to keyframes, and it was all rather complicated. But now, with the new 2.66 update, it's all fully integrated straight into the physics panel, which means we can now go ahead and make animations with rigid body physics very quickly. So I've just got this quick scene here, and it's got a bulldozer that drives forward into a pile of cubes and then just reverses out again. Now of course there's not currently nothing happens because there's no physics set up, and the bulldozer just goes straight through the cubes, and to actually animate each cube would be extremely hard. But now, thanks to the physics, we can do it all very simply. So I'm just going to show you how to set this scene up with physics. So let's start with the ground plane, because you need to have the ground plane enabled as a physics object. Down here on this panel, you'll see we now have this thing that says Rigid Body Tools. So let's just select the ground plane and click Add Passive. And this will add it as a passive rigid body that doesn't use gravity, it doesn't do anything except collide with other rigid bodies. So now we can see down here we have various options. We've set it to type passive, the shape is the mesh shape, which is what it wants to be for this, and we have unchecked animated because it isn't animated at all. So let's add this for the bulldozer as well, but this time we want to choose add active because it is going to be directly interfacing with other rigid bodies. So click add active, and this time we do want it to be animated because it's got an animation on it, and this will just allow us to allow the animation system to control it as well as the physics engine. Here we have a different shape that it's chosen for this, and it's convex hull. Now this, if you understand about collision systems, it kind of creates a simplified version of the mesh and uses that for the collision box, and that's fine for this. Of course, now we have all these cubes, so let's just select one cube and add active rigid body. And we don't need it to be animated because it's not animated, and convex hull will be fine, but actually let's just choose box, seeing as it might as well be box because they're boxes anyway. So we've got that, we've got yeah, all that seems fine, but now we need to apply it to all the other cubes. So now I'm just going to use the box select tool to select all of them, and then select the new the first cube that we did. And if I now click copy from active, it will copy the settings from that active cube onto all the new ones. So now when we play the animation, you see it drives forward and pushes the boxes out of the way. Now for some reason it isn't working on this cube here, and I think this is because it still has a mirror modifier for when I was modeling it. The collision system doesn't seem to take account of mirror modifiers, so we need to apply the mirror modifier before playing the animation. So let's try playing that again, and you see this time it knocks it out of the way. And this is very good, but although you can't see it on this animation, you can see on the timeline that the physics only goes up to frame 250, not to 300, which is where the animation actually ends. So if I place my cursor at 250 and place the cube, this cube here, right behind the bulldozer, when I now play it from this point, it will just go straight through it and not interface at all, because the animation hasn't worked. The physics hasn't worked beyond frame 250. Let's just go back to the beginning there. So to change this, we can change in the scene settings, we can change the rigid body world settings. And under rigid body cache, you can change the cache end frame to 300. Now if we run through this again, for some reason a cube's got in the way and it's kind of boinging out of the way a long way. It will continue and the orange line will go right up to frame 300. Let's just move that cube back. So this is all very good, and there is just one thing that doesn't work very well yet. Currently there is no weights set to these things, so this weighs about as much as air does according to the physics engine. So to change this, although it won't work perfectly in this scene because things aren't actual size, well I don't think they are, this might be only 2 meters long where it should be about 6. Anyway, we can go over to this panel here and click calculate mass, and we get loads of different options as to what it is made of. Now let's just say iron for this one, and now the bulldozer is made out of iron. And let's just select one of these cubes again and calculate mass, and let's try this one, gravel. Let's just select all these cubes, and select that cube again, and we can choose copy from active. And now let's start that animation again. You see they interface in a different way. The gravel kind of moves, the cubes move more like gravel would do when a large iron bulldozer runs into them. And so that's all very good, but now what if we want to change something in this where and which we can't do with physics. So we want to get rid of the physics and copy this all to keyframes. Well, this is extremely simple. Just select everything and let's duplicate it all and move it to a new layer, just so we can keep a backup copy. And now deselect everything on that layer and select on this layer, and we can then just choose bake to keyframes. When you get this option, start frame 1, end 300, frame step, and this chooses how many keyframes it misses. So 1, there will be a keyframe on every frame. 2, there will be one on every other frame, etc. So I think we don't need to have a keyframe on every frame, so doing 2 will be fine. So click OK, and it thinks about it for a bit. And now it's created this animation where everything works as it would have done in the physics engine. You see there's slight glitches, which I'm not sure what happened there, but it was only last update that it came out, so be prepared for some things being a little buggy. So that's the physics engine in a nutshell, the rigid body physics engine. I hope you come up with loads of cool stuff doing this. It's been waited for a long time, so it's nice to finally get it coming out. Yeah, so post your stuff that you've done with this tutorial on facebook.com/52hider3d. You can also, of course, subscribe and like on YouTube, and I'll see you next time I do a tutorial. See you then.